Previously, we learned how to graph sine and cosine, where the angle is stretched out on the x-axis and the value of the sine or the cosine is up and down on the y-axis. And now we want to try the other 6. So what if the y value equals the tangent of my angle? 2 things to remember. The period of the tangent, we talked about this a little bit. The period of the tangent is just pi. And normally we're going to go from minus pi over 2 to plus pi over 2 to graph it, to get one period. That's the way you'll see it in the book. But I want to graph 2 periods, and I want to make everything as simple as possible. So we're going to do the same thing for tangent as we did for sine and cosine. We're going to start at 0 and go to 2 pi. That's going to give me 2 full periods, and it's actually going to give me half of a period, a full period, and then another half. So you'll see what I mean when we get this done. But for what we need to do, we need to focus on the quadrants, the quadrantial values of sine and cosine, and we're going to see the tangent as the sine over the cosine. Why? Because when the cosine is 0, tan is undefined. Can't divide by 0, right? And where the sine is 0, the cosine will be plus or minus 1, but the tangent will equal 0, because any 0 divided by anything is still 0, but anything divided by 0 is undefined. Now, when we have a value that's undefined, that's going to be asymptotes. Okay, so wherever the cosine is 0, we're going to have an asymptote. Wherever the cosine is, the sine is 0, we're going to have a 0. Cheat or circle here. Where is the denominator equal to 0? Where is the cosine equal to 0 here? Cosine is the x value of the point on the circle. So I'm going to get asymptotes here and here. And where the top equals 0, sine is 0 right here and right here. Those are where the tangent equals 0. In quadrant 1, it's positive. Tangent is. Quadrant 2, it's negative. Quadrant 3 is plus, and quadrant 4 is minus. That's all. Oh, it looks like a Christmas wreath or something. That's all we need to know. I'm going to start at 0 and go to 2 pi, like I said. Whoops, sorry. Start at 0 and go to 2 pi. There's 0. I'm going to go to 2 pi. And there's nothing multiplying the tangent, so I'm just going to mark a 1 and a minus 1. I'll show you why. Okay. Break that into equal pieces. 4. And you'll do this the same way you did before, because the important point is the quadrants, right? This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to look for my asymptotes. Asymptotes are where the cosine equals 0. Cosine is 0 right here. So between quadrant 1 and 2, I have an asymptote. And between quadrants 3 and 4, I have another one. Why? Because I can't divide by 0. And the cosine is in the denominator, and it's 0 there. Now, where is it equal to 0? Well, it's equal to 0 wherever the sine is 0. Sine is 0 at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So I have a 0 here, a 0 here between 2 and 3, and a 0 at the end of quadrant 4. Now, one thing I want you to remember is at the 45s, the tangent equals 1. In quadrant 1, it's positive. In quadrant 2, it's negative. Quadrant 3 is plus, quadrant 4 is minus. So I'm going to put I'm not going to mark these on the x-axis, but I'm going to put my 1s. And we know that in quadrant 1, the tangent is positive all the time. So from 0 through the 1, approach the asymptote. We know it's always positive in that quadrant. In quadrant 2, we know the tangent is always negative. So in this quadrant, all my y values are down here, and I have to approach the asymptote, pass through the point. Kind of looks like a cubic. Quadrant 3, it's positive. Quadrant 4, it's negative. Now, when I pass quadrant 4, I'm in quadrant 1 again, so it's going to go up. When I go backwards, before I get to quadrant 1, I'm in quadrant 4 over here. It's negative. It's down that way. See how it works? Now, if this was not just x, you would do it the same way. Oh, wait. See how we have half of a period? This is a full period of the tangent. It's all the values from minus infinity to plus infinity. And this is the left-hand side. This is the right-hand side. And this is a full thing. If you graph from minus pi over 2 to plus pi over 2, you get that full single period of the tangent. If we mess with this, you do it just like you did before. You break your 0 to 2 pi up, or whatever it ends up being, break it up into 4 equal pieces. Make sure you label the axis, mark your quadrants, and then pay attention to where it's 0 on the bottom, you have an asymptote. Where it's 0 on the top, you have zeros. And halfway through, at the quarter pies here, you're either a -1 or a +1, right? Depending on what quadrant you're in. So if you graph these this way, you'll always get it right. Okay, cotangent works the same way that the tangent does. Its period is only 1 pi radians. But we have to see the cotangent as the cosine over the sine. So where the sine is 0, we have an asymptote. And where the cosine is 0, the whole thing just equals 0. Okay? So we're going to use the same methods that we did before. We're going to go from 0 to 2 pi just to make it all of them the same. We're going to break that into 4 quadrants. So halfway is pi, halfway there is pi over 2, 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 4 pi over 2. So those are my quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right? Now, cheater circle, where is the sign of x equal to 0? Because I can't divide by 0. Well, sine is 0 at the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? So at the beginning, in the middle, between 2 and 3, and then at the end of quadrant 4. We have zeros here. I'm sorry, where the cosine is 0, yes, here and here. So between quadrant 1 and 2, I have a 0. Between quadrants 3 and 4, at the bottom, I have a 0. And in the middle, I forgot to put my 1s. Sine and cosine equal each other at the 45s, right? So the ratio of cosine to sine is going to be 1 at the halfway marks. And in quadrant 1, the cotangent is positive. Quadrant 2, cotangent's negative. 3 is positive. 4 is negative. And I pass through the points and approach the asymptotes. Quadrant 2, it's negative. Quadrant 3, it's positive. Quadrant 4 is negative. And you see that I have full 2 cycles. It looks like backwards tangent and shift over, right? So that is the cotangent. You do the same thing if this is not just x. You find the 4 quadrants, mark them on that x-axis, know which quadrant is which, figure out where the denominator is 0 and put your asymptotes, figure out where your numerator is 0, put your zeros, then do your 45s. They're either plus or minus 1. And connect the dots and approach the asymptotes. Much easier than any other way to do these. What about secant and cosecant? Well, secant is the cosine on the bottom. So wherever the cosine equals 0, that's an asymptote. By the way, 1 over something is never nothing. So we have never 0. As a matter of fact, if you think about the cotangent, let me do this in green over here, the cosine. The value of cosine is always between minus 1 and plus 1. So if you take those values, it's all the fractions and zeros. If you take those values and you flip them, you're going to be bigger than 1 or smaller than negative 1. And where the cosine is 0, you're actually approaching infinity on either side. 1 is up and 1 is down, okay? So let's do this the same way we've done before. Find your quadrants. I'm going to keep it simple. Go from 0 to 2 pi. Make 4 quadrants. I'm going to mark these guys 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to mark, notice that the secant's not multiplied by anything. So the cosine would go up to 1 and down to minus 1. But where does the cosine equal 0? Cheater circle. Cosine is 0 at the top and the bottom. So between 1 and 2, I'm going to have an asymptote because that's where the cosine is 0. Oh, and well, I'll talk about it in a second. Also, asymptote between 3 and 4. Remember, you can't divide by 0. You can get really, really close, but you can't get there, okay? Now, what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end where the cosine equals 1 or minus 1? Well, 1 over 1 is 1. 1 over minus 1 is minus 1. So, at the beginning, the cosine is positive 1. 1 over 1 is 1. Between quadrants 2 and 3, this right here, the cosine is minus 1. Flip that over, I get minus 1. And then at 2 pi, cosine is positive 1. Flip it, positive 1. Now, I want to show you something really quickly. The cosine would have looked like this. Okay? But all of those values are getting flipped. So you see 1 divided by 1 is positive 1. These numbers get smaller, go down to 0. When I flip that, those guys are going to get bigger, right? 1 over a half is 2. 1 over 1/10 is 10. I'm sorry, 1 over 10 is, never mind, you know what I mean. 1 over 1/10 is 10, right? So when I'm way down here with my cosine value and I flip it, I'm way up here at 10. You get the point? So where the blue line gets smaller, the green line gets bigger. And in quadrants 2 and 3, the cosine is negative. So this is getting bigger that way. Don't have to draw the cosine function, but it kind of helps. So the green is the secant. The cosecant is going to work the same way. You graph the sign. Ones flipped over are ones. Zeros flipped over are asymptotes. All right, let's just jot one down really quickly. Okay, the cosecant is the sign on the bottom. Where does the sign equal 0? Let me do this like this. Cheater circle. Asymptotes are in red. I'm dividing by the sign. Where does the sign equal 0? Here, here, and then back at the beginning again. And then where the sign equals 1, we're just going to have 1 over 1 is 1. 1 over minus 1 is minus 1. Okay? So we're going to go from 0 to 2 pi. Same old, same old. Remember, when you have horizontal stretches or shifts, these numbers will change, but the process is going to stay the same. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you have an amplitude in front of this thing, then your y values are getting multiplied by that. If it's a reflection, it's going to be opposite. So let's do this. We have asymptotes at the beginning of quadrant 1, between 2 and 3, and at the end of quadrant 4. Sine equals 1 here. So between 1 and 2, the sign is 1. 1 over 1 is 1. Between 3 and 4, the sign is negative 1. Flip that over, you get negative 1. So whereas the sine function looks like this, ours is going to go opposite because it's the reciprocal. All right, so practice.